So, hello guys. This live is to know something about the latest revolution in front-end development. That is Blazepack. We have Ameer with us. He has built something called Blazepack, and which I had some initial look. It is, I believe, it is a revolution in how we build React apps locally and how we share it with the world as well. Uh, because, however, how much ever we love Code Sandbox and love using it in the browser, it is never equivalent to use something in our local machine without internet connection with VS Code. So I guess he has bridged the gap between all those things, and I invite him to this live stream to know more about uh, how he built it and how to use it. So let's go ahead. Welcome, Amit.
Hey Vilva, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to share my experience with Blazepack and how it can help us to develop React apps locally. Uh, as you said, rightly pointed out that we all love Code Sandbox and like everyone else, I actually loved Code Sandbox a lot. And I wanted to have a very similar experience in our local environment without having to jump over to a browser to code it in Code Sandbox. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, so why don't you show us some initial magic
Yep.
demo
Sure.
and then start from there, so people will be more interested, like to continue with the video.
Yep, sure. So I have some exciting things to show today. So first of all, I thought it would be fair to compare, the existing front-end tools that we have right now and how kind of Blazepack compares to that. So on one side, let me start with a Create React app, right?
Just
So
a minute. Yeah, yeah,
yep,
you can
sure.
go.
Sure. So what I'm going to do is that right now I'm going to start creating a React app, okay, using the
Mhm.
Create React app CLI. Okay, so I'm gonna give it a good head start. So I have done create React app, I have given CRA. Now I'm
Mhm.
gonna do the same using Blazepack. Okay, but while it is doing that, let me use Blazepack, create a React app, and Blazepack is already done with it, right? And I'm gonna open it in my code editor, and I'm gonna use Blazepack start.
Okay.
Yep, so we are already done, and we have a working React app that we can play around with, right? So
So no more
So
waitings.
let's
It's-
yep, let's give some good time for create React app. It's still installing dependencies, but we already have a React app that we can work with, and we kind of already have a pretty fast environment already set up for us, right? Like if you see
Mhm.
create React app is still building stuff, it's taking a lot of time, right?
It reminds me of the old movies where the villain will try to do something to the heroine, and hero will start somewhere from another city and come and save the heroine.
Exactly.
Blazepack is like the hero, and Create Reactor is like the villain.
Yep. But yeah, create React App also has just lot of stuff, but most of them who's just trying to prototype some app or just want to get started, create React App, may pack lot of things that they actually don't want.
Hmm.
Like for
Yeah.
example, it brings in lot of Webpack dependencies, all those dependencies. But actually, what in reality you want is that you just need a create React App so that you can try something out, right?
Yeah, yes. Most
So
people who use React, Create React app doesn't actually use it for production apps. They use it for quick
exactly.
demos and quickly to test out some new libraries or stuff. So I guess this is a perfect use case to have Blazepack.
True. So let's say you're in middle of a demo, you are showing
Mm.
something that you built in React, and you don't want create React app to take 2 or 3 minutes for you to download all the dependencies and do things like that, right? Like
Mhm.
even if I do a yarn start from here, it's gonna take some more time for it to build all those dependencies, bring those things to my
Yeah.
browser, right? So that's where I think Blazepack kind of sits. So it's not like something that you want for production, but you want something quick, you want something to show off to people, and you don't want to wait for so long for a toolkit to start. And
Yeah.
one great thing I feel like Blazepack shines is that create React app kind of restricts you to just a React app, right?
Mm,
Like
mm,
let's say tomorrow you want Svelte app, you need to download a whole different CLI,
Yeah, yeah.
read their docs altogether differently, right? So here, like Blazepack, we just give Blazepack create and app name for it, and we give you all possible templates, all possible popular front-end tools that you can get started with,
Awesome. I love
right?
React-TS because whenever I want to start a TypeScript project, first I will do create React app, then I'll realize there is no TypeScript, and then I'll go back and bootstrap one more thing. And the more problematic thing here is naming the folder, because I would have given some
True,
thought,
true,
created a folder, and when I try to do it again, I'll not know what new name to give. So yes, I this
true,
is
true. Yep, yep. So, like, upfront, what you're signing up for, right? Like, in Create React app, you need to, like, give a template hyphen hyphen, then a React TypeScript, right? You always don't remember what to give. So,
Hmm.
in this, we give you, like, complete list of what you can choose from. We even have React Native Web, right? Like, all the
Hmm.
supported, client templates from React. So, I mean, Code Sandbox. So, if I say I want a Svelte app, I can go into a Svelte app and I can say Blazepack start,
Mm-hmm.
and voila, you already have a Svelte app that you can start working with. So the best part is that as you keep creating new apps,
Mm-hmm.
all your dependencies are shared, all your dependencies are stored in the browser by the power
Okay.
of Code Sandbox bundler. So there is no single node modules that you are installing, right? If you see in the create React app, we have a node modules installed,
Got
but
it.
by the power of the Code Sandbox bundler, we don't even have a node modules folder,
Understood.
right?
Understood.
So everything is downloaded to your browser and it's heavily cached in your browser. So it's shared across all your projects. So if you want to
Mhm.
do multiple kind of prototyping, you don't want node modules for each of your prototypes, then you can go with Blazepack,
Amazing. Amazing.
right? So like sometimes let's we all or we always get lazy and sometimes we want to get things even more quicker. So we have an option in Blazepack for that also. For example, if I go back and do Blazepack create, and let
Mhm.
me give a new app, maybe a React Native web project. Okay,
Mhm.
I can use an option called hyphen hyphen open, and then I can choose my template, and it automatically starts the app for you.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there's no need for you to even change into the folder. So if you want to
Mhm.
quickly start an app, open it in the browser, you can use that, right?
Amazing. So the main advantage I see about Blazepack is mainly for me. I'll always be confused about using Code Sandbox and Create React App because yeah, Code Sandbox
Mhm.
is instantaneous. I don't have to wait. But the
Yep, yep,
browser
yep.
doesn't give me the feel of a home. Like I don't feel that comfortable typing in Code Sandbox when compared to my VS Code.
Mhm.
Um,
True,
I,
true.
I don't know what was the reason. Maybe the screen size or
Hmm.
maybe the interface itself. I don't know what is the reason, but I feel so home when I type it in VS Code. So for the very reason, most of the times I start in Code Sandbox, then I feel bit irritated. Then again I
Hmm.
bootstrap a create reactor. Then I copy the code from Code Sandbox to create reactor. Then I continue using it. But I guess Placepack perfectly addresses this issue of mine and solves it, I guess.
True, true. So, I also had sometimes like it's okay if I do a quick prototype in Code Sandbox. Sometimes
Mm.
when the app becomes huge and I want to, like I don't get the, that kind of muscle memory when I do with Code Sandbox and having my local VS Code. I also have been there sometimes.
Yeah.
So and sometimes I also get into a place where I have something in my Code Sandbox, right? I use Code Sandbox for a lot of prototyping, and I want to
Mhm.
quickly take it into my local machine and kind of do more things with it, right? Or sometimes
Mhm.
I see some Code Sandboxes by great people, right? Like they always have some great 3js Code Sandboxes, right?
Mhm.
So I always see them. I also always want to play with them. So let's say let's take some Code Sandbox that has 3js in it.
Mhm.
uh, for example, let's take this. It's too awesome, right? I want to play around with it, right? So usually what I do is that I go for that. I go to the file section, like probably I kind of first fork it.
Mhm.
Let me fork this sandbox. Yeah, it's getting a little slower here. Let me save this, fork it, and now I need to go to the file section. and then kind of download it, right? Download
Okay.
to zip, extract it, install all the node modules, right?
Mm-hmm.
It easily gets irritating over a period of time. You need to download it, unzip it, install all the
Yeah,
node modules,
for
things like
sure.
that. Yeah, so that's what I like. Kind of Blazepack also kind of addresses that. You can just use the command Blazepack clone and give whatever code sandbox that you want to try out locally, right?
Oh,
You
that's
give
not.
you clone it and it's already there in your local machine. You go for the 3JS fourth version of your code sandbox and you
Mm-hmm.
just say Blazepack start and you have it locally, right? And it's gonna pull all the dependencies for a second, and then you have it locally running, right?
Wow. So is
So there
the
is no more.
also is possible? Like, can I put my local directly into Code Sandbox so I can share the URL alone to people who want to test it?
Yep, that is totally possible. For example, let's take the my app that we actually right now created.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I will open it in Code Sandbox. Uh, let me open it in my VS Code editor. So let me make some edit so that it looks legit. So it will say it's edited. Let's
Mm-hmm.
save it. I can just say another command, just gonna say Blazepack export,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna do the magic for me. I think there is a little bit of sorry. I think I am in a wrong app. Let me do it. Let me create a new Blazepack app again. I think I screwed up somewhere. Mm,
Screwing up is common with live demos. No worries.
yep, true. That is very true. So I
You already
think,
had a app in the name of RN Web, right?
yep, true. So probably we'll do one thing. We'll go into the create. The best part is that, it doesn't need to be an app that you created out of Blazepack itself, right? So this is
Oh.
a CR app that we created out of Create React app, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can do Blazepack start here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And open it in my browser. Let it start. I'm not sure. Okay, I think let me just delete the node modules. I think my machine is getting a little slow. I'm not sure, maybe because of the live stream, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. With live stream, sometimes my laptop feels like it's going to take off.
True, true. So let me probably then close some other apps. Maybe I'll close Slack. Slack drinks a lot of juice. So let me clear them out and let me do a Blazepack start. It has started. So we have a create React app that's running in Blazepack, right? So let me open the same app in my VS Code.
Mm-hmm.
So let me change something so that it gets reflected.
Mm-hmm.
So we have something changed. So I want to take this into a code sandbox. So I can just say Blazepack export. I think we have some issue with the Blazepack export, but if the demo works as expected, it
Okay.
would take your code that is running locally and put it onto the into the code sandbox,
Oh.
right? So maybe I can give a last try with maybe the Svelte app. I think
Mm-hmm.
no, it doesn't work with Svelte app also. But the whole idea is that it takes
Code
your
Sandbox means something.
I think it might be something to do with Code Sandbox also, because Code Sandbox actually sends back a response about what the Code Sandbox URL is.
Okay.
So maybe I think it might be Code Sandbox is not responding properly. It's a
Mm-hmm.
good chance, as you pointed out, right? Yep.
Oh.
So, but the whole idea would be like it would be taken to your Code Sandbox and you will be given a Code Sandbox URL and you can use it to play around in the Code Sandbox itself.
Hmm. Amazing, dude. It's nice. And I also remember you trying to work on the private registries, private npm packages. How is
Yep,
that
yep, true.
shaping up?
Yep, sure, sure. I will quickly show you the idea behind that. So the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that we had a GitHub issue where one of them pointed out that the Blazepack is not working with private registries, and it
Mm-hmm.
was a good reason because by default Code Sandbox doesn't support private registries, right? So
Yeah.
because Code Sandbox runs in the browser, it is not that easy that you access a private repository by providing some credentials, right? So Sandpack by default, the bundle that is used by Code Sandbox by default didn't have support for that. So
Mm-hmm.
we had to do a little bit workaround for that. And we right now what we kind of do is that we read uh, you know your npm rc file and get the authentication token from that. And based on that, we kind of detect your private repos and use it in the Code Sandbox. I mean the Code Sandbox bundle. So probably I can give you a demo for that also. Maybe I can go into a CRA app,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I will start I will start Verdasio. So you might have heard about Verdasio. It's just a local npm clone. um, so let me open Verdasio. Verdasio runs in 4873. So I already have a private repo in Verdasio. So it's the name of that, right? And I have logged into the Verdasio in my npm registry,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I have my create React app over here. So let I think it is already running in Blazepack in the port 3000. So now if you want to install a dependency in CRA any app, what you would do is that you would do npm install, right? So that's gonna take a lot of time for you to pull everything and put it in. But the another good part about Blazepack is that you can use our own install command and just say Blazepack install and followed by the package name, right?
Okay.
So what it's going to do is that based on you know the credential that you have in your npm-rc file, which I can obviously right now can't reveal, but there is some kind of credential that is stored in my npm-rc file in my user level, which has credential for my Verdasio repository over here. And based on that, it is pulling the latest version of it and installing it in my Blazepack app, right?
Got it.
Now what I can do is that I can go into my CRA app and import. I have hello function inside it. So this is the repository, nothing but you know the private package I had. Now I can call the hello method over in that. And if I go and inspect element on that and reload it, you can see the console log from the private repository
Okay.
called hello world from the private repo. Let me reload it again. Yep. So you can see the hello world from the private repo.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
this is not available in npm itself. It is taking from Verdasio, but it can be applied to any of your company's private
Mm-hmm.
repository which has a scope,
Got it.
right? Yep. So if you can see, Blazepack install happened in kind of seconds, right? There is
Mm-hmm.
nothing like it's downloading anything from npm or doing and node modules, things like that. So you can use the Blazepack install command to install any. It doesn't need to be a private repo thing. You can also install anything from the npm itself. Like you can do Blazepack install, and you can
Okay.
do Lodash.
So just to clarify, this Blazepack install will install only Lodash, or it will start creating a separate set of node modules.
No, it just would add it's a good question. It kind of does only one thing. It just adds Lodash to your package station.
Okay. So the working still continues with through Sandbox itself. Only
Exactly,
it gets added. Okay. Interesting.
exactly. So,
That's a
so
great.
once you add it, yep. So all kind of case goes to the Code Sandbox bundler itself, since it pulls all the npm registry in the browser.
Mm-hmm.
So all we had to do is that add that to the package JSON, and uh, our sandpack bundler would detect that, and I can start using any method from it, right?
Got it. Got
So
it.
let's say I want to use the last method from it, from Lodash, I can import that. I can console log, call the last method on an array, 1, 2, and then console log it. It would just work, right? You can see the two console logs. So Lodash was pulled in, and there was literally no installation happening in your machine, right?
Got it. Got it. Got it. Aditya has messaged. Hello, Amir the wizard, and hi, Pawan. Hmm. No, but
Hey,
this,
Aditya.
this tool is surely a magic. Of course, it's maybe technically not very complicated, but the thought process itself is like so cool. Like I still am wondering how did you manage to connect sandbox with the local environment and how you arrived to this solution. So it's really amazing, and I'm impressed with the thing.
True. Thanks, Vilva. So it, like, the solution initially looked kind of straightforward, because, like, I always liked sandpack, like, this was code sandbox. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to take it locally. So the initial version was, we just used one of their package called Smooshpack, which
Mm-hmm.
allows us to, like, run code sandbox bundler locally in the browser.
Okay.
But it kind of okay for the first version, because it kind of loaded your entire sandbox in an iframe, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
for example, I can probably give you an example, not in this, maybe in another private window.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I was kind of very kind of intrigued by sandpack bundler, so I did a lot of POCs on that. So
Okay.
that's a path that left to kind of took me to this direction.
Mm-hmm.
So this example kind of uses their the built-in Smooshpack that they provide as an npm package. So
Mm-hmm.
what it does is that it kind of creates an iframe in your machine, and it kind of adds the source to a code sandbox kind of a URL or a CDN that they have, right? So let's say you use the 0.66 version of Smooshpack, then it kind of pulls all the packages, all the bundler from this particular URL. So
Okay.
one problem we had with that is that when you run your entire local code into an iframe,
Mm-hmm.
you can't get React DevTools working. The URL changes in iframe won't be reflected in your main window, right? Like all the routing that is happening inside the iframe would not be
Mm-hmm.
reflected in your main address bar.
Okay. Okay.
So
Got it.
so so what we finally did was we kind of took code sandbox, kind
Mm-hmm.
of found out the bundler parts. We have our own build of sandpack now actually running. So we
Mm-hmm.
actually don't use Smooshpack anymore. We have our own build of sandpack that we utilize it. So
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow, let's say code sandbox goes down, Blazepack would always work.
Okay. Nice.
So or like we have a separate npm package for that.
Mm-hmm.
We have something called Blazepack core.
Mm-hmm.
So we built our own sandpack version with whatever we needed, and we published as an npm package, and now we consume it through unpackage. So it's also cached in your browser, and we maintain whenever a new release of sandpack, sandbox bundler comes in, we take it, make a new build, and we then publish.
Maybe you should talk more about this Blazepack core as well, because this can let other people also innovate more on this.
Yep, sure. So, Blazepack core is kind of just a version of Sandpack that we took it from the Code Sandbox source code. I can probably show you that. So, so I have the Code Sandbox client over here with me,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, if I open it in the Code Sandbox, I
Mm-hmm.
mean the VS Code, things get easily interchanged. So the thing is that the whole the sandpack sandbox magic happens inside this particular folder in code sandbox. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you consider commander there, they have a good monorepo structure in which they have separated out things in a very neat manner. So
Mm-hmm.
so it was very easier going through their code base. So
Okay.
if you see that there is actually two important stuff that they do here. They have something called standalone packages. In the standalone packages, they have all kind of external dependencies they depend on. One of that is sandpack,
Mm-hmm.
right? Their core bundler, and the VS Code. Usually they use it to bring VS Code to the browser itself.
Mm-hmm.
So all their standalone packages live here, and their own packages which are like core on which their app itself depends is kind of in this app folder in their packages. And then if you little bit dig deeper, you would find something called sandbox.
Mm-hmm.
So this sandbox is nothing but the whole screen that we get in the code sandbox itself. Like if
Okay.
I go to a React new app in code sandbox, so this page that's getting loaded over here as a preview is nothing but this sandbox here.
Sandbox. Okay.
Yeah. So they have a separate build process for this. So
Mm-hmm.
what we did was we removed all the custom handling that they had. So they had handling for handshakes between the preview and the editor and things like that in
Okay.
this file.
Okay.
So we removed all that and I just exposed all their required functions through a window object.
Awesome. Super cool, dude.
So
I really like it.
yep. So like we thought through a lot of ways to do it. We were thinking about we would put our code also here, input everything into it. But the problem with that was it would become a huge bundle. We don't wanted that. And tomorrow, let's say Sandbox does something different, we would have a lot of merge conflict. So we thought we'll keep the editing to the minimum and we would expose all their core functionality through the window object, right? And then after the build, we got all the build artifacts right over here.
Mm-hmm.
All the build artifacts, all the index.html files. That's what it's loading in the preview, right? We took this www folder, where you can do npm package, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I can quickly show you how you consume it. It's also pretty straightforward way of consuming it. Like if you go into our Blazepack code base.
Mm-hmm.
So all our client stuff that runs in the browser happens here. So we took the www folder, made a symlink over here, right? And then what we do is that we just consume all those the functions that we exposed from the sandpack using the window object.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever we want to compile our assets that we got from our local machine, we just send it as a call to the compile function. We send all the files. We
Mm-hmm.
send what template it is and all those required stuff like what is the npm registry that we are using and things like that.
Got it. Got it. Cool. So, and this is nice, so nice. And before we end, do you have any more thing which you think that should be shared for people who are interested?
Yep, sure. So I think the big part of Blazepack itself is kind of is like I it would be too much for me to say it is kind of the bundle that everyone should use.
Mm-hmm.
But what I feel Blazepack is actually kind of Vue.js for React, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this came out when people wanted a low barrier entry point to front end development.
Mm-hmm.
So Blazepack is also kind of a low barrier entry point for anyone who is just starting, front end development, and those who want to do a quick prototype. Right. So somewhere if you are coming into a front end developer and it's going to be hard for you to install CRA, understand what CRA and things like that. You want to get started as soon as possible. So if you see Blazepack, it is totally just 11 kilobytes. It is very light, since a lot of stuff we download on demand from the browser.
Got
Right.
it.
So it's totally 11 KB. So you just do an npm install of Blazepack, and you have kind of whole lot of opportunity for learning React, Vue. So you're not just installing a singular toolchain, but you're installing a toolchain for entire front end
Got
development.
it. Got it. Amazing. So I'm completely on the same page. And thank you so much for taking your time to explain all this for people, Ameer. And guys, for you also, like if you are interested in knowing, like talking to the creators of libraries like this, let me know in the comments. We can have more people talking about their what stuff they have built, like what Ameer did. And you have, if you have anything to tell, Ameer, just feel free to tell.
Yes, yeah, thanks a lot, Vilva, for having me. It means a lot. I have been watching your videos. It is like I always learn something new whenever you post something like those mini series. I just love it. So I learned a lot in the console APIs. Like, I had no idea that I can use console that much, because I mostly do console log, console log, console log. And the SEO stuff that you shared were like, some of them I had no clue how to do that. I kind of tried, when I like, build some new apps, I used some of your SEO ideologies to, to do some rich interfaces. So I really love your videos, and I'm totally, kind of happy to be here and share what I did. So thanks for
Sure.
having me.
Thank you, Amir. And thank you guys who are joined. And see you, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye guys. Have a great weekday.